I'm sure you can see the pizza slices on my screen, and you're probably wondering what the hell is going on. I thought we were here to talk about stocks. Anyway, so I started investing in stocks during the pandemic. Before then, I took courses on different things: customer support, product management. I did product management for a bit with some guys at Google. I also learned forex trading with Udemy courses, and it didn't really enter at the time. So I spent I spent a very long time in 2017 trying to learn forex. It did not enter, and because it did not enter, I did not pressure myself. I am currently not a forex trader. I have nothing against forex traders. I have some amazing people in our community who are forex traders, and they are really, really, doing well. But I personally don't trade forex. One of the things I later picked up was stock investing, and in stock. It's stock because the idea of you know investing just really really makes sense to me, and I paid a lot of attention, and because of that everything entered. So when you think of stock investing, just think of buying a slice of a company. That is why we have pizza on screen right now. So you have this pizza, these are basically slices. So this is a six slices. This is a six slice pizza, right? A company can just wake up tomorrow and decide, you know what, we are going to hold three. We're going to keep three to ourselves, and then the other three will put it out there for the public, and people can actually buy or invest. So when you think of investing, just think of ownership, just owning a small piece, a small part of a company. Now, these companies are actually publicly listed companies. In fact, if you want to confirm if a company is worth investing in, one of the things you want to look out for is if it's publicly listed. Don't worry, I am going to explain what that means. Right? But again, to give you a breakdown of what we are going to discuss, we're going to answer 6 questions on this call. The first one is what stocks are. What are stocks? Second one is why do companies go public? Why do companies even allow you to invest in them? Why do people buy stocks? How to buy stocks, what to look out for, and then lastly, the platforms that you can use to buy these stocks. So the really, really basic stuff. Most part, we're going to be covering what stocks are and why companies go public. So the year is 2004. Mark Zuckerberg is launching Facebook. He just wakes up and he decides, you know what? Um, I want to take this company public. I want other people to invest in it. Why did he do that? Well, because Mark Zuckerberg is not a thief. He cannot go out there and point guns at people and say, hey, give me your money. I want to invest in my company. I need 200 million. Give me your money. So because you're not a thief, you need investors to invest in your business. It's either that or you privately, again, also go and meet some shareholders who can invest, and then you take their money, invest it in the business. If it's doing well, they can pretty much cash out with returns. So some of the surest ways to make money is by working a 9 to 5 or by selling something or rendering a service or by taking a company public. If you already have something you're working on, you can take it public. Or maybe you have somebody that is funding your lifestyle. These are basically ways you can make money or get money or have access to money. Stealing is not a way, to make money. It's not legal. If you're caught, you'll get in trouble. So because stealing is illegal, Mark Zuckerberg cannot just go and rob somebody. He needs investors to invest in his company. And there are 6 people waiting. Oh my God. I think I've admitted them. So because Mark Zuckerberg cannot steal, he needs to take his company public. I've yapped about that enough. For you to take a company public, you need to do something called an IPO. What is an IPO? An IPO is an initial public offering. It's when you go to an exchange or just go to if you're in the US, you go to a place called Wall Street. They call it Wall Street. Don't let the name confuse you. I'm going to explain what it is. Can everyone hear me? Can I get a thumbs up? I just want to be sure you guys can see my screen and hear me. Okay. So these companies want to go public. They need investors. So because they need investors, they pretty much, you know, list the stock in an exchange or in a market. Think of it as a market. You are a pepper producer. You want customers to buy your pepper. So what do? You carry your pepper from the farm, you take it to the market, and in the market, you actually get people to buy your pepper. Think of it that way. So Wall Street is a place in the United States. Wall Street is actually the name of a street. Wall Street, you might think the stock market, but it's the name of a street. It's called Wall Street because the New York Stock Exchange is in that street. Um, Wall Street map. There are also some big companies there as well. So it's here, this financial district. So you have Wall Street. Here, you will see the New York Stock Exchange building. The Trump Tower is also close by here somewhere. JP Morgan's building is here as well. So the New York Stock Exchange is here. That is why they call it Wall Street. When you hear investors say, "Oh, Wall Street just announced," or "Wall Street is this," blah 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 blah, they are basically talking about the New York Stock Exchange. So when you're IPOing, most companies in the US for US stocks, when they are doing an IPO, these things are usually announced and traded in the New York Stock Exchange. Nigeria has its own as well. It's called the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Do you guys understand? Sorry, guys. So many people trying to join. So you need to list your stock in a market for people to be able to buy. That is how this Wall Street comes into the whole thing. And what are you doing in the first place? You're doing something called PO. Now, there are so many ways to list your stock in the stock market. It's not through an IPO. There are open listings, there's this listing, that listing, but the most popular is an initial public offering. It's when a company just wakes up one day and says, "We are no longer a private company. We want everything we do now to be public. Our earnings are going to be publicly declared. How much we lose, how much we make are going to be publicly declared. We want investors to see our numbers and be like, ah, these people are making money. I am going to invest in them." That is why companies go public. So if you now decide to invest in their stock, Femi, can you mute?
Oh, sorry.
No worries. If you now decide to invest in the stock, the price of the stock is going to push up a bit. I mean, it might even push up more, right? Again, think of the whole pizza thing. The company that initially took their company public, they have most of the shares. They have most of the pizza slices. They have like three. This one is divided for the rest of the public, like millions of it divided into millions of pieces for the rest of the public, right? So that's why when you think of the people who own the most shares um, right now, you think of Mark Zuckerberg, um, who owns the most Meta shares. So you see here, Mark Zuckerberg owns the most Meta shares by a significant margin. Again, the pizza explanation. He owns a lot of it. So the more people buy and the price is going up, Mark Zuckerberg's money is going to keep going up. So when a company goes public, it's not like they just threw everything out there and they're like, "Oh yeah, everybody come and invest. So if you invest in it, it's for your own good." Blah blah. No, you're also helping people who have bought before. If you bought, the price is going to keep going up, and you're helping those who have bought before. Now, what does it take to even do an IPO these days? How do I take a company from a private company to a public company? Well, you need a very, very good team. Now, one of the people that was recently hired by Canva IPO 2026 hire. Um, there's a woman that was hired recently by Canva because Canva wants to go public. Very soon you'll be able to buy Canva shares. So they hired Kelly. Her name is Kelly Steckelberg. This woman has worked with Zoom before and a bunch of other companies, so she knows her stuff. So they hired Kelly to basically look at their numbers and everything before they go from a private company to a public company. This is one of the team members you need to actually take your company public. Sorry, I need to check if somebody is trying to join. No one. Okay. So for you to take your company public, if Flutterwave, for example, now Flutterwave operates mostly in Africa, but they are also, expanding beyond Africa. If they decide to list in the Nigerian Stock Exchange now for people to invest in them as Nigerian stocks, um, they need a very, very good team. I think Flutterwave is going to IPO at some point, by the way. But again, I don't have a credible source. And just because I've been here for a very long time, I know for a fact that they will do that at some point. Because also, if you take your company public, you'll be able to get access to some things that private companies will not be able to get access to. Taking your company public means that a lot of people will now be able to see your numbers, see everything, and go, okay, so these guys are doing well. Let's invite their CEO to this particular thing we are working on, or this particular thing we are doing. It opens doors to partnerships and so many other things. That is why a lot of people take their company public. Apart from the fact that, of course, apart from the fact that they are going to make money. It's also why you see Dangote talking about selling shares again, and getting people to, get paid in dividend in dollars once you invest in his new venture that is coming up and everything. These things are good for the public. These things are also good for the company. But again, before you can IPO, before you can take your company public, you need a solid team. So this woman was hired by Canva. I'm pretty sure, since she was hired, she's still looking at Canva's numbers. She wants to make sure that everything is solid before they take the company public. There are rumors that Canva will go public this year, so you'll be able to invest or buy Canva shares. It's just a rumor. It hasn't really been finalized. Um, there are also other companies out there that, a lot of people think will go public very soon. So I think I've explained this bit. Why do companies go public? Because they need your money. They need investors, right? Why do people invest in these companies? Well, because these companies, a lot of them are actually solving problems. A lot of them are actually trying to make the world better in their own way. You might not agree with it, but Dangote is also trying to make, the world better in his own way, with the sugar, with the salt and everything else, right? So that is why people invest. People invest because they think that this is a very, very good venture. It's going to, mature over time. Um, there are so many other reasons, obviously, but these are the ones that I can think of. It's a win-win situation for people who want to invest, um, and also people who own the company. Now, who is an investor? An investor is basically someone who has taken money out of their pocket or taken their time and resources and invested it in something. So don't feel bad when you call yourself an investor because you bought 10,000 naira worth of shares of MTN. You are an investor. You need to own it with your chest because it's also one of the ways you can go far. Some people will say, oh, be investor, you have to be this. No, no, you don't have to be anything. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. If your small 10K can buy you MTN shares, go ahead and do it. You are an investor and you can grow from there. Am I making sense? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, I need to admit someone else. All right, let's go on. Now, how do you buy shares? How do you invest? Well, it's simple. You need to find a broker. Before, the people that we saw as stockbrokers used to be people in suits. Stockbroker. So before, if you Google stockbroker, things are changing now, like really, really fast, and it's nice. I'm glad to be alive to see it. In the previous years, when you Google stockbroker, you see people like this, people who are wearing suits, who are, and of course, these brokers exist now, but a lot of them actually exist as firms and as platforms. I'm simply saying these days you don't have to actually give 500k to Mr. Michael to go and buy these particular shares for you. You don't have to give Magnus a dime, to go and invest in stocks for you. You can actually do these things from the comfort of your home these days. So, for you to buy shares, for you to invest in any company out there, you need to use a broker. These days there are stock brokerage platforms that you can use. There are so many. There's Trove for Nigeria. There is Webull for the US, Australia as well. My friends who are in the investing community, who are in our investing community, a lot of them use Trading 212, the ones that are in the UK. So you need to find any of these platforms and you can use them to buy shares of any company. Another beautiful thing that has changed or has happened with time is you can now buy fractional shares. What does that mean? It means that instead of investing in MTN with like 500 naira or 600 naira per share, instead of buying one share, you can actually buy a very tiny fraction with like 10,000 naira or 5,000 naira, because there are now so many institutions that are getting in on this whole investing thing. There are also brokerage houses as well who are helping process these things, who are getting more shares, you know, because a lot of people are getting in on it. It's just now easier for you to actually trade stocks. You can buy and sell at any time. When I say anytime, I mean Monday to Friday. The stock market is open every day from Monday to Friday. For the US stock market, because that's what I mostly trade, it's usually 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon till around 10 p.m. or thereabout. If you're trading between April and I think October or thereabout before the daylight savings time, it's usually 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon Nigerian time until around 9 p.m. I think for Nigeria, we can check this together. Nigerian stock market open close time. It says here 10 a.m. No, 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 no. Okay, it says 9:30 a.m. in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. So these are the things you should know as well when the stock market opens and when it closes. Now, who makes some of these rules? Who makes some of these, who decides these things? Well, you know how we have the Central Bank of Nigeria that regulates all the banks in Nigeria and makes the rules for most of the things these banks do. We have the SEC. The SEC governs the markets. So I'm going to type it here. So the US has, an SEC body. The Nigerian market as well has an SEC body. I don't remember her name anymore, but if you do remember, please unmute yourself and remind me. There's this badass woman that used to manage the SEC in Nigeria before. She no longer does that. I've forgotten her name. I think she was like the director or the president. Amazing woman. She I've watched a bunch of her interviews in the past. She's a very, very no nonsense person. So she doesn't allow these companies just, do anyhow. The SEC governs how, how we trade, how we invest in Nigerian stocks in Nigeria. For the US market also has an SEC as well. Can everyone still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So again, there are also a couple of small bodies like that are governing that govern some of the things we do in the Nigerian stock market, like the CSCS. The CSCS gives you like your CSCS number. There's the CHN as well, but they are, in my experience, they are Baba, of the whole thing is really the SEC. And the SEC website for Nigeria is the sec.gov.ng. So again, companies go public because they are looking for investors. They are not thieves. They need to grow. It's either they get investors when they take their company public or they borrow money. If you read Hotel Dollar's book, which I did from back to back, one of the things he talked about was he borrowed money from Access Bank. He borrowed billions from, Zenith Bank. He borrowed so much money from different this thing because he was trying to push his business. He had to, get more vehicles. He had to get a bunch of other things to push his oil business and everything. So if you're somebody who is running a company, I would also like to chip in now. It's not a crime. There's nothing wrong with borrowing money as long as you actually have a good collateral and you can pay back. Debts are not good. Even Otedola said it. But if you can borrow money, you have a solid business plan and you can get investors and everything, by all means, go ahead. So we've talked about the SEC. We've talked about stock investing, why we invest in stocks and everything. We've talked about these platforms as well. For platforms, there's Bamboo, there's Chaka, there's Trove. There are so many of them. I have an account with almost all of them, but I don't use all of them because it's not good to use too many platforms when you are investing. So pick one or two and just stick to it. For the sake of this call, I am not going to specifically tell you that you should go and install this particular app to trade stocks because you've probably seen one or two of my videos and you know the app I use. I don't want to turn to a marketer for them. Um, if you're trading US stocks, you can also do the same, with some of these apps. If you're looking to demo trade, basically trade, get free money to trade, not the actual trading, but paper trading where you get fake money to trade the same market and see if you make money or lose money. You can use Trove. Trove has a demo trading um, option for you to use. I don't use Trove. I once had issues with verification because I move around a lot, so my addresses change a lot, and they don't like that. So I don't use Trove. But if you can set up on Trove, do that. You're going to get an option for you to demo trade. You can also do it with. I think you can also do that with. Um, what's the name of this platform? Is it
Trading View.
investing? Trading View. Yes, Trading View. God bless you. You can also do it with Trading View as well. So consider that. Now, enough of all the talks about platforms and theories and why we invest and all of that. I want to talk about how to properly even look at a company before you buy their shares. The very first platform for this is Yahoo Finance. For the past 2 years, I have been using Yahoo Finance every single day. It's so bad that I have a widget on my home screen on my phone that, let me move this aside. That basically shows me all my portfolio that I'm watching and the news and everything. So the very first platform that any investor would recommend for you is Yahoo Finance. So for the sake of this class, I want somebody to give me random. I want somebody to give me the name of a company, a US stock. Let's take a look at it together.
Nvidia.
Somebody mentioned
Amazon,
Nvidia.
Google.
Was it Nvidia?
Yeah,
Amazon.
yes.
Okay.
Google.
Okay, we'll do two. We'll do two. We'll do Nvidia and Amazon. I like this. So, like I told you guys before, the stock market opens every day as of now between 3:30 and around 10 p.m. As you can see here, do you see here on Yahoo Finance? Do you see my mouse? It says the US stock market opens in 1 minute. Do you see this? I'm moving my mouse. Do you guys see it? So, just off the top of your head,
Yeah, yes,
yeah,
yes, we can see.
it's awesome. It's one of those places you can just come to or check out, and you know, you see when the markets are opening and when they are closing and all of that. So this is Nvidia. Some people call it Nvidia. You're not wrong. Don't worry. Um, you can call it any name, really. Doesn't matter. I have taken so many courses on investing, and I'll tell you for a fact that there are some people who actually own millions of shares of some of these stocks, and they pronounce it anyhow. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this is Nvidia. Now, if you're analyzing this stock, if you're looking at this stock, um, These are some of the things that you need to look out for. Also, before you ask, yes, I do own some shares of Nvidia. I don't know if you'll be able to see my holdings here. Let me see. Yes, these are some of the stocks I own on the right side. You can see they are moving because the stock market just opened and everything will start pumping up and down. You can see the numbers moving here as well. More moment. Let me see if there are people trying to join. So, before you invest in a company, there are some things you need to look out for. This is really important. Really, really important because it influences how you lose a lot of money or make a lot of money. So, again, these numbers are moving right now here because the stock market just opened. So it's going to keep changing like this as people are buying and selling. And how do you also see that people are buying and selling? Well, you can look at the volume here. You can see the volume. I don't know if I can close the sidebar. Can I? I don't think so. But I hope you can see my screen clearly. You can see the volume here. You can see the market cap and all of that. You can also take a look at what Nvidia does here. There is a saying that you should never invest in any company that don't know what they do. Like Dangote Sugar, for example, I've spent a very unhealthy amount of time taking a look at Dangote Sugar, comparing it to Dangote Cement, and I will pick Dangote Cement any day over Dangote Sugar. Not because I hate sugar, but because I've really really sat down to look at these stocks, and I would always choose Dangote Cement because of their numbers, because of I know what they do, I know what their returns are like year on year, I know what all of that really. So for Nvidia, this is what it's looking like today, and some of the things you want to look at before you invest in a company. First of all, is their market cap. If you're a long-term investor who does not trade penny stocks, you're not influenced by this whole AI nonsense, you should always go for stocks that have a huge market cap. It shows dominance in it. It means they've been there for a very long time. And if you invest in this company, it will not just overnight crash. Small companies that have low caps, on the other hand, tend to influence tend to become very volatile. It tends to also the price of the cap also influences how people invest in it because some people are like, yeah, this is a low cap, stock. I wouldn't want to. So the more market cap, the better. I am going to open Netflix, for example. I'm using Netflix. Don't worry, I'll come back to Nvidia. I'm using Netflix because a lot of us use Netflix. Um,
Sorry.
Go on, tell me.
How would we know how huge the market cap should be?
Oh, it's here. It's here. It's here. Market cap for Netflix is 390 billion.
Oh,
All the stocks here have their market cap declared. I need you to understand something. These are companies that are publicly listed. So it's one way you would know um, if a company is a public company. Another way you would know if a company is a public company is if all of this information are publicly declared out here, like the market cap, the average volume, earnings date, all of this stuff. It's like looking at a PHP code or a JavaScript code. If you studied computer science like me, immediately you look at it, you just know that this code is JavaScript or PHP. So if you look at this, you can immediately tell, oh, this is a publicly listed company. Did I answer your question?
yes, definitely.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to admit people that are trying to join. Next time, I'll just let people come and go however they please. It's better that way. But let's continue. So the very first thing you want to look out for with these stocks is check year to date how they are doing. Of course, the year just started. So this single candle is only for today. Yesterday was first. The market was not open. The SEC, that declares some of these things, it basically probes some of these markets to mention when they have their public holidays. I'm going to share a video later stating what the public holidays for the Nigerian stock market is and what the public holiday for the US stock market is for 2026. I already have that drafted. I just did not share it. I forgot. So many things happening. But um, the stock market is open Monday to Friday. Doesn't matter if it's US market or Nigerian market. They have that in common, unless on a public holiday. Yesterday was a public holiday. Because it was a public holiday, New Year Day for the US and the Nigerian market, it doesn't count. You don't see the chart for first year. This year today is only for this year. If you want to say the last 365 days, just use 1 year. You click on 1 year and you can see that Netflix is basically back to square one, um, where it was at the start of 2025, because it's just 3% up in the last 1 year. I am going to address this later, maybe in this class or later, because I will tell you why Netflix is down and some of the things that happened over the years and why I should probably sell some of my shares or not. Anyway, um,
Can I ask
someone wants.
real quick? I'm sorry for intruding.
Yeah, but I have an anonymous link here. I will share it again. I need you guys to write your questions down there, but please ask.
Okay, yes. So I checked. I think as of last year, I was really into
Hmm.
Netflix. I
Hmm.
noticed that Netflix bought Warner Brothers for about $49 billion.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
So
I
go on.
so I was expecting if Netflix will actually have a pump, because I'm checking the charts, but I've not really seen anything coming up. So I don't really know, maybe the sales or when they bought Warner Brothers, it kind of affected
Yeah.
the Netflix stocks or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I do have an answer for you, but I want to copy this and share it in the chat again. This is the anonymous link in case you have questions for me. I will send it again here in the chat. Please write your questions there. But to answer your question, when a sale like that of Netflix and Warner Bros, the acquisition, when that kind of sale happens in the US, it needs to go through some approvals. The DOJ are going to get in on this. It needs to go through so many steps, processes, and approvals. The reason the news carried it that way and said that Netflix has bought Warner Bros. Is because Warner Bros. Was willing to sell to Netflix even before Paramount stepped in. So everybody got excited. I think that the general public who are not, investors got excited because they use Netflix, they know Warner Bros, and everything. Warner Bros owns the Harry Potter franchise, the Justice League movies, blah blah blah. They got excited about it, and it just became a thing. But this sale has not been finalized. It's probably going to take months for it to be finalized. Because the sale has not been finalized, people are taking a step back. And when I say people, those investors, hedge funds, really massive companies that can invest billions in this whole thing, in Netflix, they are taking a step back, waiting for the sale to finalize. Because we've seen this so many times. We've seen this over the years. We've seen so many acquisitions, even in Nigeria here. You do not jump and buy immediately, you wait. It's not going to pump. If it pumps, it's just a bunch of guys on Telegram and some people who are just getting in on this investing. They are just rushing to buy and buy and buy. But it doesn't really work like that for big people who are willing to put massive amount of money in stocks. If anything, these are the things that will make Netflix pump now. Their collaboration, recent collaboration with AMC. You see, it's here. That is what will make it pump, not the whole Warner Bros. Thing yet. The Warner Bros. Thing will come later, but the sale needs to be finalized. Now, when you look at a stock, one thing you want to look at is the market cap of the stock. Again, if you're a long-term investor, you're serious about your money, you're selfish. Jay, can you mute, please? My voice is echoing on your end. Um, if you're a long-term investor, you want to look at stocks that have huge market cap. A huge market cap is good. The other thing you also want to look at is the PE ratio. How did we arrive at this number, Seth? Well, this number, the way we got at this number is the price of the stock, $92, divided by the earnings per share, EPS. So if you take this number and you divide this with that number, you're going to get PE ratio. Now, the price to earnings ratio is very, very important as well. A PE ratio of 38 is high. Is Mary here? I had the same conversation with one of the people in our community. Her name is Mary, and we also checked out some other companies and their PE ratios, but I'm guessing she's not here. A PE ratio of 38 is high. If you doubt me or wondering if it's a good thing or not, you can also go to Google and say, is a PE ratio of 38 good for Netflix? And then, thanks to this new AI thing here, it basically tells you that it's slightly high. So it will now compare it to other stocks that are in the same sector with, with Netflix. If you look at other stocks that are in the same sector, it will most likely be around 20 something. Let's say broadcast and radio television. Stocks in this same industry are around 28. I mean, the PE ratio is around 28. The price to earnings ratio of a stock gives you a sense of how much premium you are paying for it. Think of buying a bag of rice now. I keep using bag of rice because it's relatable. Think of buying a bag of rice at like 90,000 naira when you could have bought it for like 50,000 naira. So just think of it like that. Like in terms of multiples, a P ratio of 38 is high. If it's 20 something, I would take it. So it's also another reason why some people would hold back on this stock. If I want to get in on Netflix now, I would get in when it's down to 80 something or maybe 70 something. I recommended it as a buy at some point in our community, sometime last month or 2 months ago. Um, but as of now, I would wait this week out because the year just started to see how it's, how it's doing or how it's going. So look at the PE ratio, compare it to other stocks in that same industry before you buy a stock. This also applies to Nigerian stocks. A PE ratio of, let me give you an example. Again, I'm jumping to a different stock. Sorry, I tend to do that a lot, but it's for the, again, learning purpose. Can you guys still hear me? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Look at the ratio for Uber, guys. What do you see?
10.65.
It's 10.
Slower.
What do you think a P ratio of 10 is? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think?
Bad.
Okay.
Since it's slower, it's good.
Okay. Well, that is not, again, how you calculate PE ratio. Let's go back to the Google search. Thankfully, I have it. A PE ratio of 38 is reasonably or slightly high. High is not good. If it's high, it means you're paying a high amount for that particular stock. It's price to earnings ratio. Again, how do you arrive at that? Is earnings per share dividing the price of the stock. If it's low, it's good. If it's high, it's not good. A lower PE ratio is always better.
Okay.
Please, I beg you, keep this in mind. There was a guy, I don't know his name, his location, but his name is Tunde. He's in my investing community. I think he lives in Nigeria. I don't usually ask for where people live. It's not really my business. But Tunde recommended Palantir to us 3 years ago when it was $23. I made millions from this stock. Tunde and everybody else in the community also made money from it. At the time, we bought it when it was $23. Why did we buy this stock at the time at $23? Because the PE ratio was ridiculously cheap. I think it was around 10 or 12. But over the years, the PE ratio has gone all the way to 500. I sold my stock, everything, when the PE ratio went up to 500. A PE ratio of 500, 400 and something is considered high. Again, please keep that in mind. A PE ratio like this is ridiculously high. It basically means that there is no reason for these earnings per share and this share price to justify, just what that company is doing and how they are making money and everything. Palantir has continued to grow over time because they are winning US government contracts. In fact, the reason they are still in existence is because they deploy software for the US government and a bunch of other stuff. They build drones, they build some counterterrorism, freaking insane stuff. They have like a trailer on it on YouTube and everything. These people are basically helping the US fight their wars. And because of that, the US will keep pumping money in the company. The PE ratio went over to 200. I panicked, I did not sell. 300, I panicked, I did not sell. When it got to 500, I sold everything. Because as you can see now, it's dropping again. The stock has gone from all the way up to, let's do last 1 year, because it started dropping. Yeah, it was at 214 at some point per share. Now it's at 178. So the lower PE ratio, the better. Palantir is one of the best performing stocks of the last 2 3 years. You can Google it and see. But when the PE ratio started going high, I decided to sell. So if the PE ratio of a stock is too high, don't go and rush to buy the stock. That is what I am trying to practice. I mean, preach with all of this explanation. Have we covered that? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go all the way from Uber to. Also, let me just chip in on Uber a bit. And you guys have seen my video about me yapping about Uber. I'm sure you most likely have seen it. Uber is one of my best performing stocks of last year. January 2025, I told everybody in the community to buy Uber. In the last 1 year, it's up 31%. So nobody can tell me they invested Uber because I recommended it and lost money. And I'm also stating it again. I still think it's a really cheap stock. Their only problem or competitor right now is the fact that Tesla is building robo taxis, and Tesla wants to do everything inside their own app. They are not looking to partner with Uber. So it's one of Uber's major competitor. But Google's Waymo, which is a driverless car service, Uber, LCID, all of them, they are partnering together and they are all working with Uber to allow people to book rides, driverless rides, and the stock has been going up over time. So judging by this PE ratio you see here, their market cap, of course, there are a bunch of other things. Just looking at the news, what they've been up to lately, and I'm looking at all of this. I'm telling you about all of this because I don't want you to think that this whole investing thing is rocket science. It's not. You can literally open Yahoo Finance. You don't have to pay a dime. You can open Yahoo Finance and do these things yourself. You come to Yahoo Finance, you enter the name of the company, you check the market cap, you check the PE ratio. If it's too high, check what the PE ratio of other stocks in that sector are. This PE ratio, I would still, again, this is just me speaking for educational purposes. I would still recommend buying um, Uber stock because of all the things I know that they are up to. Now, the other thing you want to look at is their financials. If you're an accountant or you're a financial analyst, you will understand this one very well. So if you go to their balance sheet, you can actually see what the company's numbers. You can also see their debt as well. Is the company owing money? How much are they owing? Uber's long-term debt is around, I think, 9 million. Sorry, let me check if someone is trying to join. Yes, there's someone trying to join. I haven't picked up my phone since I started this thing. My WhatsApp will be blowing up by now. But anyway, let's continue. You want to look at their financials as well. If a company's debt is really, really huge, like really, really huge, like I'm talking 100 million, 200 million, run, oh, run. If the debt is not so much, then I mean, you can still get in. It's not a crime to owe money. I've said this and I've said this so many times. Even Dangote borrows money from banks and other businesses and all of that. As long as these companies can pay back, it's fine. Now let's go to analysis. It's also another thing you want to look at. You want to see how they've done over time. So change it to quarterly. This is basically their earnings over time and revenue. What's the difference between revenue and earnings? Well, The revenue is basically everything. Operating income for that quarter, everything. Salaries they paid people, just everything all jumbled together as it connects to the business in a sense. But earnings, I usually see earnings as basically what they report that they were going to make in profit, and they actually met it. If earnings are met, all of this will be green when you go to analysis. All of this will be green. This is also a good sign to invest in Uber. Again, I don't work at Uber. I'm not saying you should come and buy our shares. I don't work for Uber. I just know that it's a really, really company, a really, really solid company. They have solid balance sheet. Their earnings and reports and everything have been really, really green over time. Now, you can see the number of analysts that have analyzed it. See normalized. Before on this page, there used to be what analyst ratings are. How many analysts rated it, what they think about it, and everything. If you check the Yahoo Finance app, I am 100% sure that you're going to see it. I don't know why they pulled it from the website. But before, you can also see what these analysts are saying. 36 analysts, you see how many of them are rating it as a buy, how many of them are rating it as a hold, how many of them are rating it as a sell. So look at these numbers. Again, go to analysis, look at these numbers. You can see it's all green. Now, I'm going to show you a company that hasn't been doing well, that doesn't really have solid earnings. Off the top of my head, Tesla is one. I am not a fan of Tesla. My money. Uh, it's been going up because Elon Musk always has plans, and it's beautiful to see. But do you guys see this? You see, they've missed their last 4 targets. Basically, the whole of last year, Tesla was on fire. It was so bad that some people were even selling their Tesla and so many other things. But you are probably wondering, why Tesla not doing well? Because sometimes, just because a company is reporting losses, doesn't mean investors will stop investing. People will still keep buying the shares. Why? Because the company is sometimes up to something. Priscilla, I'm getting some feedback from your end. Can you mute, please? Thank you. Someone is trying to join. So, look at Tesla. I know this stock. I know this stock went like $200 or so. I kept saying I'm not going to buy. This is what stubbornness does to you. I'd have doubled my money or tripled my money by now, but I did not invest in the stock. Do I regret it? No, not one bit. Because by a huge margin, by a huge extent, a lot of my stocks have done well over time. So you win some, you lose some. I did not invest in Tesla because of all of these red flags. I mean, who sees a red flag and decides to invest in a stock? There are not many people out there who do. But Tesla over time has had plans. Tesla is working on, a new model. Tesla is working on a bunch of driverless trucks. Tesla is working on the new Tesla robot. Tesla is working on, and then there's the whole Elon Musk effect. When you hear Elon Musk speak, you can actually understand that that guy doesn't actually have issues against anybody. He just really, really wants to do some really cool stuff. He's that nerdy and very techy. He really wants to build some cool stuff. And because I can relate to the kind of person he is, I used to watch his stuff, right? I don't follow him on social media or anything, but I used to watch his interviews and everything. The guy is brilliant. Let's not lie. But still, I wouldn't buy this stock. I would still rate it as a sell because the red flags are just too much. They are really just too much. And Elon Musk knows I'm my papa. If I lose money now, that's it. I've lost my money. And I don't want that to happen. Look at the PE ratio. The PE ratio is 315. That's a really high number. I want to invest in stocks that have like a PE ratio of 30 something and below. If possible, 10, 12, 15. Not this. Again, just because somebody analyzed a stock and decides to not invest in it, it doesn't mean that that company is going to fail and die and stuff. Tesla is a living example. Tesla will probably keep doing well. Will I buy this stock? No. Maybe when it goes back down to $200, which will most likely not happen. Maybe around $300, I would buy this stock. But right now, I wouldn't. And I think that something crazy is going to happen to this stock at some point. Like I am just, it's just something that comes on you when you've been in this in the investing space for a very very long time. Now, somebody mentioned Nvidia, so we're going to go back to it. But before we go back to Nvidia, um, let me check. Let me check who else wants to join. You know what? Let's just continue. Another thing you would also see with publicly listed companies is their profile. The profile of the company is public. Everything is public. You know who the CEO of the company is, how much is being paid per year, um, and the year he was born. Some of our parents like to invest with people who are older, people who are like 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, etc. Because they know that experience sometimes is good to manage or run a company. If it's a young person that is running a company, some people tend to not invest. So these things are publicly listed. You can see the technology, the sector is technology, the industry is semiconductors. You can see their full employees, the number of employees they have. Again, if a company is public, if you can invest in a stock, all their information are public, and you can easily go online to platforms like Yahoo Finance and check these things for yourself. You can see when their upcoming event is. You can even check their SEC filings. Does anybody remember what SEC is? Anyone? You can unmute and answer.
Security and Exchange Commission.
Yes, God bless you. Yes, that is the SEC. Every quarter, a lot of companies have to do some filings to SEC. If there's like a major change, they have to report it. Um, every 6 months, some companies do theirs every 6 months. I don't really know the exact date that these filings happen, but if there is a major change in your company, you're supposed to file um, some forms and everything to SEC. There's the 10Q, there's the 8K. These are names for different this thing. If you're somebody who invests every single day, you know what a 10Q form is. It's periodic financial stuff. You can see it here as well. 8K is corporate changes and voting matters. So if somebody says, did they file any 10Q recently? They're basically asking you, did Dangote file any financial reports recently for you to look at their numbers and decide whether you want to buy their shares or not? So if I click on this periodic financial report, it takes me to a PDF viewer that actually show me the document. So this is Nvidia's recent from 10Q. So these public companies need to report these things to the SEC. The SEC is like Central Bank of Nigeria that governs all the banks, right? The SEC is basically the body that governs all the markets. So these companies, everything about them are usually in public, like this. So with this small information, of course, there are still so many things to look out for. There's still even the news stuff. Sometimes I don't invest in a stock because I heard that something happened to them. Like Geregu, for example, Otedola sold all his shares in Geregu PLC. Um, Also, sorry to correct myself from before. It's not LTD. If a company is public, I think it's PLC, public limited company. Usually companies used to have PLC in front of their names before for Nigeria. So please, I stand corrected. It's PLC, not LTD. A public limited company are basically companies that go public. I don't know everything, and when I remember something, I will tell you. Also, you can tell me I'm wrong. I would admit my mistakes, but I just remember that it's actually PLC because I said Geregu PLC. But yeah, I wouldn't buy Geregu now, for example, because Otedola sold all his shares. Like, where would I do that? I would wait. I would wait to see what the new owners are doing, what they are up to, and everything. So, um, that's it. There are also some AI tools now on these platforms that would basically tell you more about Nvidia, what to expect, and everything. And if you're wondering if it's a good thing to invest in Nvidia, I would say yes. I'm looking at 250 for this stock. This stock will most likely go up to 250. There'll be a lot of bad news too along the way, because right now everything is fine with Nvidia because Trump is a big fan. right? But if they cannot sell GPUs to China, for example, or something else happens, it's going to be a problem. So you are going to experience ups and downs if you invest in this particular stock. Now, one of the things you can also do here is watch a stock. When you watch a stock, it means you can go to a stock, click on it. There's a star. There's usually a star close to the stock, and you can watch it. Let's use Digital Bridge, for example. I think I recently added it. DBRG. I recommended this stock on the free group recently. It's still at the same place this last couple of days. It's not really been moving, but they recently got acquired by SoftBank. I immediately I heard the news. I came here and I clicked on this star and I added it to my list. What does that mean? It means I am now following their updates. I added it to watch list. Anything that happens with this stock now, I would know. If there is some news, if something comes up about the stock, I will get a notification on my phone if I have the Yahoo Finance app installed. So I am adding a lot of stocks to my watch list. I also connected my stock portfolio to my to my Yahoo Finance. That's how much I like Yahoo Finance. So if I click on my portfolio, I want to show you guys what my portfolio looks like. So the stock market is currently open, as you can see. Um, the market has been rough in the last 6 months. But today alone, I've made $74 because the market is currently 2.3% up for me. Basically, cumulatively, all the stocks I own, if you look at all of this, you can see some of them are red because I'm making some losses on some of them. Like Pat, for example, I bought this stock with $100. I'm down by like $4 total. Yeah, so it's currently at $96 for me. Even the best investors lose money, and I'm not even the best investor. But long term, you need to make sure that you're investing in solid companies out there, because if you look at my numbers here today, I've made $74. Recently, like my recent returns have been 14% up. You can also see the stocks I own here. These are all the stocks I own. You can see their shares as well. Um, if you want to see the total return and total gain, you can see them here. Tilray, um, I'm up 369%. SoFi, I'm up 129%. And up and up and up and stuff like that. There are some stocks that I'm also red on. You can see some losses here. VRAR, I've lost 72% of my money that I invested in this stock. EDSA, the biotech company that I mentioned on the free group the other day, I have lost 55% of my money. Am I going to sell this stock now? No, I will not. I will leave it in case the company starts doing well again. So at the time when I invested in these companies, I thought they were really, really solid companies. And I was sure. I was stubbornly sure. That is why I will not wake up tomorrow and sell my shares. You have to be fucking sure. Excuse my language, but you need to really, really believe in yourself. I don't know why Tommy is laughing. Oh, it's Tammy. I don't know why you're laughing, but okay. Uh, I was very, very sure at the time that these stocks are going to do good, because if you buy a stock now and you gotta sell immediately. Sometimes you regret it. Google, for example, I don't regret, you know, not selling because I'm still up. It's still going up. I should have even bought more shares. I have sold a lot of these stocks. I've also sold half of some because when the year is ending, I tend to take some profit. So I recently withdrew around 1 million naira and then another 800K from the stock market because I wanted to do that in December. So actually, it was because I wanted to buy solar panel, but let's just call it Dirty December. Um, but yeah, so sometimes you want to sell some and take profit, and sometimes you just want to leave it there for a very long time. Now, one of the most likely questions that you guys are going to ask me is, so what stocks are you going to be holding for a very long time? I think I've shared that on the free group earlier today. So you guys have that already. If you don't have it, then maybe check the free group again or something. I don't know. So we are going to take questions now. Uh, what's the name of the question link again? One moment. IG, yeah, this one. So we will be looking at some questions. Please don't ask questions on the call. It just makes the call long. So first one is, what can we do in the event of financial crisis like what happened in 2008? This is a very, like, I don't know who you are, but this is one of the most brilliant questions I've seen in a minute. You don't have to say your name, that's fine. I like the whole anonymous thing, I prefer it. But to answer this question, the very first thing I would say is don't overinvest. Overinvesting is a thing. Some guy on TikTok will tell you, oh, you can never overinvest. Put all your money in the no, you will overinvest. Sometimes you don't even see money to eat because you put all your money in the stock market. That's not a good thing. Um, so the very first thing I would say is don't overinvest. I'm one of those people that would confidently tell you that I did not buy any stock this December that passed. Again, I usually don't have anything to prove to anyone. Um, I only buy a stock when I have the money to buy a stock. So the very first thing you want to make sure you're not doing is you're not taking a huge chunk of your salary or your allowance or the money you're getting from anywhere and you're not putting everything in the stock market, because if something happens to that money, God help you. So what you can do is take a particular percentage of your money and then put it in the market. Most people would actually do 20%. Some people will say only invest 20% of your income in stocks. Some people will say 30%. Some people will say 10%. Magnus does not tell you how much percentage of your money you should invest in a stock. I don't know what your living condition is like. Some people moved to new houses recently. They are trying to furnish it. I cannot be telling them to use half of their money to buy stocks. It's not like that. It's not supposed to be like that. You know how much you're earning, just take some of it and invest it. Not too much. And how do you do the whole investing thing? Budget how much you think you're going to spend in your house for a month. What is left? You can take what is left and invest, or you can, I don't know, decide whatever you want with it. I don't really tell people how much to use to invest in stocks. I don't like it. But please don't overinvest. That's the very first thing I would say. The second thing is diversify as much as you can. Don't just invest in tech stocks. There's the whole talk about AI booming and robotics and everything. I invested in a stock called RRR. If you're here, or RR, Rich Tech Robotics, if you're here, you are in the private group and you bought it, please raise up your hand. But yes, we did buy RRR sometime last year. The stock did 120%. I sold half and left the rest. Why? Because I know that with this whole AI bubble and the whole robotics thing and the whole semiconductor stocks pumping, at some point there is going to be a correction. These things will pull back. Even silver, almighty silver, is pulling back. Recently, it might keep going up at some point, but there's usually a pullback. So you want to make sure you diversify so that if you invest in, robotics, and you invest in tech stocks and you invest in healthcare stocks, if something happens to that particular sector, the tech sector or the robotics sector, you'll be able to say, oh, at least I have health stocks. These ones are still doing well. Diversification is very, very important. And when I say diversify, I did not mean go and invest with multiple apps. There are so many apps in Nigeria these days, I've lost count, but I only use like two to buy, these things. So don't spread your money across multiple apps. Pick two apps that you can access their customer support if something happens, and go ahead and invest with them. So again, diversify, and again, don't overinvest. I am a salary earner, just like a lot of people out there. I don't use all my money in a month to buy stocks. I use some of it. I use the rest of the money to, do other things. Overinvesting is not good. There was a lady that joined us in 2021 when we first started this stock investing thing. She invested in stocks, and then at some point she had to sell everything, and she sold all her stocks at a loss. Why did she sell? She sold because she said she didn't really have money to spend anymore, and she wasn't, her job, she's a freelancer, her job was not consistent, she wasn't making money. So that happens too. So in the event of financial crisis, let's pray it doesn't even happen. Make sure that before that happens, before you even think of that happening, make sure that you're setting some small money aside in different things. There's also mutual funds as well. You can invest in mutual funds. You can also leave some dollars somewhere just in case. There's a woman, I've forgotten her name, very, very brilliant woman. I got invited to an event somewhere in Yaba about 2 years ago to listen to her speak. She says that some of our kids are abroad, and she has been able to actually take care of some of their basic stuff because of the dollars she saved over time. She said she keeps some physical dollars, and she also keeps some on some platforms and banks and all of that. So it's also a smart thing to do, a smart thing to adopt. Another thing about investing is once it becomes a part of you, it doesn't really leave you. It doesn't. Like, I can't even think of what I'll be doing with my life if I'm not investing every year. There are some months I don't buy stocks at all. But I like the fact that I have money in different places. And when I say different places, I'm not saying giving people money. Don't give anybody money to keep for you. Find platforms that you can invest in different assets and invest. There are some people out there that would say, oh, I gave my money to I know send you. I wouldn't even ask you to give me money, or I won't tell you that, oh, I'm pitching this thing, come and no, 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 no. Don't give anybody your money. You can do these things from the comfort of your home. So let's pray that the financial crisis thing doesn't happen. But if it happens, let's hope that the world will be able to recover from it. Just make sure you're investing in solid stocks and you're not over investing, and you diversify. Did I answer this question? Okay, then
Yes, thank you very much.
no problem. Please recap the amount of debt you said we should run from. The amount of debt you said we should run from. Okay. So I haven't shared this in a video online before, but I have borrowed a million naira from Fair Money before. That 1 million naira ended up turning to 1.8 million naira from nowhere. I was so angry. I was so angry. So I don't come to you as somebody that is perfect or anything. I have borrowed money before in the past. I've been doing this money thing since as far back as like 2014, 2015. That's not when Fair Money came out, but I'm just saying I've been putting money in things, doing things online for that long. I used to even blog with somebody before we shut down the site. So I borrowed a million naira from Fair Money. So the whole thing is actually like a nonsense borrowing pattern. I borrowed 10K first. I paid them back. I borrowed, I think I borrowed like 25K. I paid them back. It kept going on and on. At some point, I borrowed a million naira. Don't worry, it's not in recent years. It's been a long time. I borrowed a million naira, and then one afternoon, one big lady called me, and she was like, "Hello, are you Magnus Okeke? This is something from Fair Money. You're owing us." Hey, my mind caught. at the time, I didn't really have like a consistent job that will be giving money and everything. I panicked. At the end of the day, we had to reach an agreement. I wasn't dodging their calls. I used to pick their calls, and I think they like me for it. There's this thing about honesty to a certain extent. If you're honest with fund managers, you're honest with your basically people and bank and stuff, they tend to, like, if you're not a shady person, they tend to actually like you. I know you don't have to make people like you and everything, but it makes your life easier when people can actually stand you. So I think they can stand me. That was why they gave me that. So they kept calling me, and I said, right now I have like 50K, and I cannot just give you guys this 50K because because I'm trying to service a loan of 1.8 million naira. So one afternoon, a lady, another person, I feel like they rotate callers or something. They called me and said, "Hey Magnus, I am from this wealth recovery platform, something wealth." It turns out that Fair Money and these other banks, they actually use wealth recovery platforms to call people and recover their funds and everything. Now, why OPay, they can't knock for your gate sometimes, to carry you. Those people, they don't necessarily work for OPay. They are just guys that recover debts. But anyway, so they now said that they are doing a promo or something, that they are willing to strike away some of the interest on my account if I can pay, I think 1.5 million or so. At the end of the day, Sha, long story short, I was able to sort out my loan with fair money, and that was it. So right now, you wouldn't see anywhere that I'm owing fair money. I'm just putting it out there to let you guys know that I'm not owing them. I know they, I know they owe them money. I know they owe Pampy. I know they owe Pay and Co. Like, yeah, I don't. Um, but the amount of debt I said you should run from is basically any form of debt you will not be able to pay back. There's no amount specifically. The very first thing I'll tell you is if you owe 10k, 20k, up to 100k on any of these platforms, go and pay it back ASAP. Like, go and pay it back as soon as possible. If you cannot pay it back, try to reach out to their customer support and say, hey, I'm owing this amount. Are you guys doing like a promo or something? I've not been able to come up with the money, and see what they say. Right? Try, try and pay, try and pay it back. Um, so there is no specific amount. There is no debt that is a good debt. Just try to not owe money, guys. Try to not owe money. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Uh, do people buy gold like they buy stocks and various type as well? This from today? Yes, it's from today, but 10 a.m. So it's not part of this class. But I'll answer it. Yes, there are gold stocks. There are stocks that are pegged to gold. There are gold mining companies out there as well. So when gold goes up, their stock also goes up. Do you guys want me to show you how to find gold stocks?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you go on Google and just type gold stocks Yahoo Finance. It's funny because it's actually super straightforward. So uh this is a gold ETF, I think. Um but this is not what I'm looking for actually. There is a page dedicated to all the stocks that are in the gold sector. This is the gold itself. Yes, so this is it. Largest companies in this industry. So these are stocks that, as you can see, have been in the sector. This is the heat map version. You can see these companies. So these companies engage in the mining of gold. They engage in just all things gold. When gold goes up in the market, they also go up. One of them that I bought, and I mentioned it on the group the other day as well, I invested in, was I think it was AG. It was AG. I later sold AG in August. AIG rather. AIG. Yes. So this is AIG. They're involved in the mining of gold and a bunch of other stuff. Um, if you look here, you can see that in the last 1 year, let's use 1 year. Year to date is yesterday till today, but the last 1 year, you can see that the stock has done relatively well because gold was going up. So as you can see here, um, offers insurance products, blah blah blah. Let's see if we can find a full this thing on it. Uh, the company provides commercial industrial. No, this is not it. Nope, 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 nope. Um, hold on. There's another way to do this. Let's go to research, market stocks, most active, most expensive. This is not what I'm looking for. It's funny because I don't remember the name of the stock off the top of my head, but it's not AIG. Um, City or SA NEM. I know NEM, but NEM is not the one I invested in. Again, I've sold it, so it's not here. Uh, list of gold stocks, US market. It has an A in the name. Uh, I don't know why they keep showing me NEM. It's not AU. It's not KGC. It's not SA. It's not DC. Ah, I hate this. List of stock in the gold industry. Oh, we're getting closer. It's not Alamos. I know Alamos. IAG. What the heck? What did I search for here? Okay, so this is it. Sorry, guys. This is it. Um, IAG, I am Gold Corp. This stock did really, really well. You see, 212% in the last 1 year. I sold it in August. Why did I sell? Um, I needed the money, actually. I'm not going to lie. I needed money. That's why I sold. Uh, but over time, as you can see, it kept going up. I think I bought the stock when it was like $7 per share or so. So these are stocks that these are companies in the mining of gold. Truist operates as a gold producer and developer in Canada and Burkina Faso. Okay, yeah. So this is it. So I bought this stock. This is how you find gold stock. You just need to Google it. I'm going to send you guys a link to this list. As you can see recently, just today and the last couple of days, gold has not been so great, but it actually reached all-time high like last week or thereabouts. So you can see these companies, they are pegged to gold. Some of them are actually ETFs that are also again pegged to gold. Some of them engage in the mining of gold. If gold goes up in the market, the company's value also goes up as well. I don't see a way to increase the percentage change over time. You'd have seen more numbers here, but all the companies that engage in the mining of gold and own gold, they've done really, really well, like 200%, 200%, 300%, 400% in the last 1 year because gold has been going up. So I'm guessing I also answered that question as well. I'm going to stop here, but let's take two more questions from you guys. Does anyone have any more questions for me?
Yes. Sorry, but I have a question.
Wait, let's do this. Can you raise up your hand, Jay? Okay, you'll be number one. I need two more people. Somebody raised their hand, but I cannot see it clearly. So I'm just going to go back here and I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, Okumo Prince. Prince also raised up his hand. Okay, let's start with the first person. What is your question?
Okay, so basically, I have a lot of questions, but I'll just ask just one.
Okay, please
So
ask
you
one.
mentioned, so you mentioned something about the earlier about IPO, and I think earlier today, I think by two something, I saw a news on Yahoo Finance
Yeah,
about SpaceX. So I
yeah.
saw
So
that
SpaceX is also doing IPO. Yeah, go on.
they want to push publicly. So I was asking, and because I was checking for the ticker, but I wasn't listening to the ticker because I was told in the news that by June and July, SpaceX will be launched publicly. So I wanted to know if if maybe if you have
Okay,
seen it
so
and if
we don't have a ticker yet, but I get you. I'm sorry I cut in, but yeah, let's just get to it. I know about the IPO. I've heard about it. They said it might be the biggest IPO in history and everything, but there is no ticker symbol. There is, if you really want to get news about SpaceX going public and everything, Canva and Co, just check platforms like Yahoo Finance very often. Um, there are also some YouTube channels like IPO Market Watch that will tell you more about companies that are going public and stuff like that. So the valuation, all of that, don't concern yourself with it now until they go public. Obviously, they can't just do it overnight. They are preparing their numbers and everything. So yes, the IPO is going to happen. There are platforms that tell you about IPOs and stuff. I'm going to check my notepad for them again, and I'll share it with you guys on the free group.
thank you
Second
very much. Really
question,
appreciate it.
no problem. No problem. Prince, what is your question?
Okay, I was one that asked about the debt. Well, what I meant was I wanted to know the amount of debt a company has that we should run from when we want to
Oh,
invest
I
in
think
this.
I mentioned. Yeah, some debts are just really, really outrageous. I don't think that anybody out there will tell you, "Oh, this is the specific amount." But if a company is owing like, I don't know, like 100 million or more, I wouldn't really engage with that company unless it's one of the magnificent seven. Company like Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, and Co. But it's just if a company is owing a lot of money, it's usually not a good idea, and sometimes it reflects in their price per share and everything. It reflects in everything. If you go to their earnings, you can see that their earnings have not been so great, and because it has not been so great, you might actually lose your money. See, the goal of this whole thing, you analyzing a stock and checking a company whether it's a buy or not, the whole idea or goal of this whole thing is to make sure that you don't lose money. I made a video this morning when I woke up. I'm going to post it and share it with you guys later. What I said in that video is do not lose money. Make sure you don't lose money. I will not be teaching a class if I wasn't profitable overall when it comes to investing. If I'm somebody who is still struggling to invest in these companies, and I'm like, I wouldn't host a class. So make sure that you are profitable. Make sure that you don't lose money. Make sure you look at the 5, 10 stocks that you own and you're like, okay, I'm actually in profit cumulatively and everything. So there is no specific amount, but sometimes the depth of a company is just really red. It's huge. It's massive. Now, there are so many other things to look out for when you're, again, analyzing a stock, but for the sake of our time, this is really what I could cover.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Destiny, no problem. Destiny, hi. You're muted. Destiny, you have your hand raised. Okay, so I'm not sure what's up with Destiny, but does anybody else have any more questions? Praise, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So the question that I had is, you mentioned like many times that you sell a stock and then you make profit from it.
Yeah.
Where then do we need to take into consideration the compounding like impact of your stock? So, for example, how do you know? Because if you sell it, it
Yeah.
reduces the amount of
Yes.
money that you
Yes, it does.
are making from the stock. So, like,
Yeah.
how do you know when to sell and like when to leverage compounding the
Yeah.
effects for your stock?
Okay, so there are two things to answer here. There is a when to sell and why to sell. The reason I sell stocks mostly is because my father is not a rich man per se. It's not like some millionaire or something. So I tend to put money in a stock. If I double my money, I'll take half of the money and leave the rest there. I'm basically taking care of myself, if you know what I mean. So I'm usually like just buying and selling stocks and stuff like that. This is also something that most people will not tell you on TikTok and Instagram. Everybody is telling you to buy and hold for like 10 years. But if you want chop unko, if you want to move to a better house unko, or travel to a different city, you know, I've sold my stock because I needed to travel to 3 different countries, and I did the trip, and I stayed a while, and I came back when I was running out of money. If money don't they finish, I they come out back. So the reason I sell stocks is because I need the money. Now, the when to sell the stock, what I tell everyone in my community, the private community, is if you're going to sell a stock, or when you decide to sell a stock rather, sell half and leave the other ones there. But it's not always all the time I do that. The stocks I said I've been holding for a long time that I shared with you guys on the group in that chat and pie chart and everything, those ones I am not selling them anytime soon. I do not plan to sell them. Those are my long-term holdings. Like Google, for example, I do not intend to sell my Google shares any frigging time soon. So it's not like I sell every stock I own, right? These stocks have been a lot of these stocks have been compounding over time for me, and I'm still holding them. You might not really see the compounding thing, um, Yahoo Finance and everything, because I use Bamboo to trade. But yeah. So again, if you have the money to take care of yourself, like every year, all those stocks, please leave them, especially the ones that are doing well. Leave them. Um, One of the things that we had, one of the sessions we had earlier today, I had a session with one of the people who recently joined our community. I'm not again going to mention their name, but I think they're on this call. We basically looked at their portfolio, and we looked at some stocks, and I'm like, don't sell this one, give this one some time and stuff. So it's not like I sell every stock. I don't know if I'm answering your questions, but um, I mean, I own
Yeah,
40
yeah.
stocks. I own 40 stocks. It used to be way more than that. Used to be like 53. And out of those 53, I've sold some completely. The stocks that I'm holding long term, even reach 20. The ones I showed you guys I'm holding long term, it's not up to 20. RR, for example, I'm still in profit after taking profit from the stock. I bought the stock with like $100. It turned to $200, so I sold half. I took $100. I chopped the money. I don't even remember what I used it for. Yes, judge me. But I left the remaining $100 there, and it's been there, and it's still in profit. I'm not planning to sell the rest, but I'm always saying that there are some stocks you actually hold for a very long time, and there are some stocks that you just decide to sell. Everybody's talking about compounding. You are going. It's going to compound. It's going to. I never chop, guy. I need money. I can't just compound everything. I need to sell some. You know. So if something comes up now, something is happening. But we thank God for 9 to 5, because of my 9 to 5, I haven't even sold some stocks in years. I haven't sold some stocks in a very, very long time. Again, Google is one of them. Destiny, you can ask your question now.
Okay, good afternoon, Sir Magnus. Can you
Good
hear me?
afternoon. Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate all the angle you have touched in terms of trading, especially in Nigeria and international markets. But the area I actually was expecting, you have not mentioned it, and one of them is OTC market.
Okay.
Can you please give some light on that?
Okay, so
I would really appreciate it.
no problem. So I don't trade over the counter stocks. I'm not really very savvy with OTC markets. It's the same. The way I would answer a question pertaining to OTC markets is the same way I'll answer questions pertaining to forex. And before, I used to not say anything about these things because I feel like people will hiss and be like, "This guy doesn't know what's going on." But I do know what is going on. OTC markets are very risky. A lot of over-the-counter stocks are super risky, so I don't really play that side at all. I think you can trade OTC markets with Trove. The farthest I can go with stock investing, when it comes to, like, you know engaging in OTC stocks, would be just those small penny stocks that are like 3 naira, 3 naira, 2 naira, 5 naira.
So,
There's a Yeah, there's a stock, penny stocks. God bless you. 5 naira and below. There are stocks like that are very, very cheap. I would trade those, but over the counter stocks, I feel like there is more to it. There are some people who are very good at it, but again, I am not ashamed to tell you that it's not really an area that I'm very, very savvy. And I know people make a lot of money from it, but I know really to savvy OTC markets like that. If you
All
want
right.
me to, yeah, if you're in my community and you want me to really dig in and get in there on it, I will shamelessly do it. I attend a lot of, like, for example, Bamboo had investors hangout in December. I was there. I got to meet the CEO of Bamboo and the co-founder. I go chook head for you,
Okay,
find out
okay,
as much
thank
as I
you.
can about it. But I don't trade OTC stocks.
All right, thank you very much. I really
No,
appreciate that.
no problem. And I'm sorry I couldn't help, but yeah, I don't trade OTC.
That's okay, no problem. We are still
Yeah,
together as
no
time goes
problem.
on. Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks.
Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Blessing and Temi, you people tell me why you're Why are you guys laughing? Why are you guys laughing? Does anybody
we're
have any
going
more
along with
questions for me?
everything.
If you have no more questions for me, we are going to pretty much close the session. Um, I will try and see if I can have another session with you guys by maybe March or thereabout. But most of the stuff I share are actually public. Again, I don't hoard this information. They are free online. But feel free to use me as your guinea pig, as somebody who spends day and night doing stocks. Like, I'm sleeping here 247. I have an office in my house. I literally sleep off on the chair sometimes because I'm watching videos and plotting and scheming and drawing things and stuff and calculating stuff. So if you have questions about stocks, feel free to ask me. Again, I don't trade forex. I cannot really assist you with anything forex trading. I don't hate forex traders. Some of my friends are forex traders, and I respect them. But I don't do OTC. I don't do forex. I do crypto occasionally. I made like $20 this morning from crypto. Um, I'm going to send you guys the screenshot so you see it, so you know I'm not lying. But apart from crypto and investing in stocks and trading stocks as well, I don't really do a bunch of other things. I mean, I do mutual fund, but it's not like a daily thing. I invest in mutual funds. I own some dollars as well with GTB, and with piggy vests and some on bamboo. Like I just have money in different places, and you'll see some of these things come up in my videos. And again, when I make videos, I share things that I know and things that I've done. I will not come online out there to tell you something in the name of content or drag somebody out or mention somebody's name publicly. I don't do that. I'll probably not be popular because of it, but I'm good. I have money. So screw it. So let's stop here for today. When we meet again, it will most likely be in March or later in January, depending on how my workload is. I conduct interviews. That's my 9 to 5. I don't know what January is going to look like, but if I'm free, we might have another class. We have to talk about things like dividends. We have to talk about things like ETFs. There are so many other things in the stock market that we should be able to cover. If you want to do a one-on-one session with me, then please join the VIP community. I can always make time, you know, to have a one-on-one session with you and we can discuss stuff. Unlimited one-on-ones. I don't mind. I like talking about money. So thank you guys, and I will see you around. Have a wonderful new year.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Rob,
you. You
Thank
too. Bye.
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your
Yeah.
effort. God bless.
Thank you.